Hey, what's going on? It's Gary from FitnessFirstNutrition.com. I'm back with another video. Please like, comment, share, and subscribe. Hope everybody's doing good out there. We got a few topics to cover today. So we're going to start off with a video about a 600-pound 16-year-old, which is just crazy. So let's get into the video.
Hey, baby.
Morning.
How did you sleep?
Okay.
You're okay with the sausage and the bacon?
Mhm.
How many waffles are you going to want?
4.
4? Okay. Okay, go ahead and get a syrup. Get your fork. How about some donut? Some bear claw?
No.
How about apple fritter?
No.
No? Okay. You want extra butter?
Sure.
Okay, honey. I got some cinnamon rolls for you, okay? You're going to want milk?
Okay.
You want to put the butter yourself or you want me to do it?
You can do it.
I know I've spoiled him, but he is a special kid.
So this right here, this is crazy. This is ridiculous. So this mom right here, she should be arrested for child abuse, or kids should be taken away. It's really too late at this point. For your child to be 600 pounds, for a 16-year-old to be 600 pounds, means that you have no regard for the child's health. You're a failure as a parent at that point. I mean, I hate to say it, but you have failed that child if you have let them grow to 600 pounds. That kid seems lifeless. He seems like he sounds, I don't want to say it, but he sounds like he doesn't really care about life. All he's doing is going through the motions and getting that little dopamine rush from eating whatever food and sugar and carbs and whatever she's serving him. And she is not helping him. She is actually killing her son slowly, slowly. It's going to be so hard for him to bounce back from being that big, from being that unhealthy. I'll be surprised if he doesn't have health complications from being that size, from eating that type of food in that amount for how much ever long time it took him to become 600 pounds. Now, you don't just wake up and become 600 pounds. Getting up to 600 pounds as a 28-year-old is hard, let alone a 16-year-old. That means this has been going on for just quite some time. She has had a chance to rectify this, to get him on the right path, and she has failed. She has failed her son, and he should be taken away. I support the government coming in. I normally am not a proponent for the government. However, I do support the government coming in, snatching that child away, and forcing him into some type of dietary camp or something. I'll help you out, but the kid needs help. I mean, he's almost not a kid at this point. I mean, he knows what he's doing, but he does need help. And you can tell it. Like he just sounds defeated. If anybody's listening, you can hear it in his voice. He sounds like he has nothing to live for other than these pancakes that he's getting or his waffles, and she's just offering him more condiments to put on there. I mean, I guess it's hard to say no to your kid, but you have to put your child's well-being ahead of everything else, and that's just not being done here.
So it's hard not to. Here you go, baby. You want me to pour this up for you?
I got it.
Okay. Or did you want the pecan one?
No, this is fine.
You're good on that?
Mm-hmm.
What are you going to want for dinner today, baby?
Meatloaf.
Meatloaf? You want any more bacon or sausage, honey, or you're good?
I'm okay.
No?
No.
Okay. Did I put enough butter on your waffles?
Mm-hmm.
I should have made you French toast. Would you ever like that better?
No, this is fine.
Tomorrow? How many do you want?
4.
Are you going to want me to put the powdered sugar too on top of it?
Mm-hmm.
Okay. You know, Mom worries about you all the time.
Uh-huh.
Mom is not worried. Mom might be worried about him, but mom is the problem. I don't understand how people can't see when they're actively. It's like if this child was a heroin addict. And she's just giving him more and more heroin and then says, Mommy's worried about you. But we don't really think about food in that aspect, but food can be a drug. He's addicted to food. This food can kill him just the same way that heroin can eventually kill him. So you wouldn't give your kid heroin, but you wanna stuff your kid full of pancakes and meatloaf and watch him deteriorate. Well, his health deteriorate. He's exploding.
So talk to me. I don't want to hear
I know my mom does worry about me. It's because I can't really do anything on my own anymore. So I get depressed because I'm not really doing anything. I'm just like staying in the house. I just stay home and eat. This really is my life. I don't really know anything else.
At 16, he cannot move around on his own. He cannot do anything but sit in the house. So he has a long road to recover, to be, he has a long road ahead to be a normal person. Hopefully he gets the help that he needs. But I don't think he's going to get it from his mother, which is where we'll probably have to come from. I don't know if he goes to school. He can't go to school. There's no desks. There's no chairs for him to sit in. He wouldn't be able to walk into the school. I'm pretty sure he gets out of bed really fast at 600 pounds. So, I mean, I really hope that he gets the help that he needs, but I have zero faith in the fact that he's going to get any type of help. But we're going to transition over into the next topic. So the next topic it's a reaction to a video that I saw about the Philadelphia strikes, and somebody getting mad at the people who made a business out of capitalizing on a trash strike in Philadelphia, and this guy doesn't agree with it. So let's see. We can get that up here for you.
Survive off no job out this motherfucker. I ain't what motherfuckers be like, oh, well, they asking for this. You can't survive off no 50K salary, 80K. You have to make at least $1 billion to be like, I live a good life. Like, I can pay my bills and be comfortable and save up and do this and the third. If you ain't making a big.
So, first of all, a bean is $100,000 to anybody who doesn't know. If you are a single person and you're making $80,000 a year and you can't take a vacation, if you're living check to check at $80,000 as a single person, you have a spending problem. You need help. You don't need more money because you're just going to spend more money. At $50,000, even at $50,000, you can still afford a place to stay. You can still afford whatever clothes. You can still save up for a vacation. You can still do these things at $50,000 as a single person.
Being you have to have a second job or a little side hustle. What do you mean? Like on some real shit, you gotta sell crack to be comfortable out here. And when I say crack, I'm talking about the shit you sniff and crack like your ass. Like you gotta be selling ass out there doing, ladies, because there's no way that you can get paid $25 an hour and clock in and clock out all week and it still won't be enough. You gotta do something else out this joint. Man, if you think anything else, I don't know what to tell you. So you got the union workers asking for a 4% raise, 5% raise. I don't care what the numbers is. They not wrong. Everybody should be asking for a raise. It's fucked up out this joint, bro. How we mad or not supporting people that's wanting more money to do their job? I don't give a fuck if it was nurses, bus drivers, teachers.
So they can want more money to for their job. However, it does matter because they are paid. Everybody's paid by somebody. So in order to pay somebody, you have to bring money in. So you can't just say that they should get more money. They should get this this huge salary or this increase. You don't know the city's budget. You don't know how much it's going to cost them, to retain all of these employees. And once you sign the contract, you're set in stone. So right now, I believe the city has a surplus, but the surplus is for emergency situations. If something, a disaster happens, a flooding happens, if anything happens, you're supposed to be able to dip into that money without having to run to the federal government. You're not really supposed to have to run to the federal government. You're supposed to run your city, run your state in a way where you have the money to take care of your constituents, your citizens. Well, you're all citizens of the United States, but your people. I pay my taxes to Pennsylvania and Philadelphia. So if something happens, Philadelphia and Pennsylvania need to be able to take care of it. I pay taxes to the federal government separately, so they need to be able to handle whatever they are supposed to handle geopolitically and whatever. It's a wide scope of things that they take care of. But I pay them the money. I pay money here. I need everybody to do their job. And when we're talking about 9,000 workers, even something as small as $5 extra or $10 extra is hundreds of millions of dollars per year extra.
Everybody who fighting for a raise, I stand beside it because I know everybody is underpaid, been overworked. You get what I'm saying? I remember growing up, if you made like $12 an hour, you was touching some paper when I was like 18, 19. I get paid $12 an hour. If you get paid 25, shit, fuck it. We gonna say if you get paid $30 an hour, that still won't be enough for you to survive out here, bro. And
if you get paid $30 an hour, I'm gonna do the numbers real quick because I'm not really sure what $30 an hour equals to, but that's crazy. You saying you can't make $30 an hour and be okay out here as a regular person. All right, so $30 an hour, 80 hours a week times 26 pays. That's $62,400 a year. If you can't make it off of $60,000, you have bigger problems.
Y'all wondering why it's all this criminal activity going on. Brinks trucks getting hit, stores getting robbed, niggas selling drugs. What else can you possibly do?
They've been robbing banks and hitting Brinks trucks since the 70s. Well, I don't know if Brinks was around, but they was hitting armored trucks. They was hitting banks back in the 70s, maybe even the 60s, the 80s, 90s. Like, this is not something new. This is crime has been going on in the inner cities.
Do to put food on the table because the job not cutting it. So stop even telling people, man, niggas, man, go get a job. You got to go get jobs and to have a decent side hustle, bro. And then you got the people that be like, oh, people just need to live and stop living above their means. You not living above your means. Who the fuck want to go to work every day, do all this hustling and can't afford nothing nice? I can't afford to buy a bag, a pair of shoes, take a nice trip. How is that living above your means?
It's living above your means. Your means are, first of all, you take care of your main necessities. You take care of your shelter. It might not feel good, but this is what you have to take care of: your shelter, your food, your transportation to work, your utilities. Those are your main things. As a single person, if you have kids, you obviously have daycare, or you have to feed your kids, or whatever. But we're just going to operate under the fact this is a single person. So, I don't know. Let me run that back.
Bag, a pair of shoes, take a nice trip. How is that living above your means?
Yeah. So having a vacation or taking a trip is not as a luxury. So in order to get a luxury, you have to have money to afford luxurious things. So even if it's a small trip, you can save up. Most people save up for trips, or actually most people don't even take trips. But for people who do take trips, they have to save up money. So you take some money and you set it to the side, maybe for a year. You might pay on something for a year. You might pay $50 a month for $50 a paycheck for an entire year if you can afford that, just to take a trip. I talked to a guy before. He saved up for 2, maybe 3 years to take his daughter to Disney World. He couldn't afford to take his daughter to Disney World on a whim. You have to do the things. You either have to make more money or you have to save money and sacrifice. It doesn't sound good, but everybody can't make $45 an hour, because if everybody makes $45 an hour, guess what? $45 an hour is the same thing as you making $12 an hour right now. That's the way inflation works. It's supply and demand. You can't get around it.
Everybody deserves to have some nice shit who working their ass off. But the moment you work your ass off, people living above their means. You got to be a fucking millionaire to be able to afford a fucking designer bag. So technically, everybody is living above their means. But it shouldn't even be like that. How the fuck I got to make $100+ a year to take a nice vacation for my family? How about I gotta make $100K a year to be able to be approved for a fucking apartment? Like, this shit's stupid out here. Yo,
You do not have to make 100K. This is just lies, man. I don't know if he caught up in his feelings. He's a content creator, but this is ridiculous. And then this gets perpetuated by other people, and then it becomes like a thing. This is not a thing. You don't need $100,000 to get approved for an apartment. Is the amount that you have to put down on an apartment in the city of Philadelphia ridiculous? Yes, 3 times your income. You have to make 3 times the rent as your income. That's ridiculous. But you don't have to make 100,000. If you had to make 100,000, obviously it wouldn't be any apartments rented. It'd be barely any apartments rented because most people don't make 100,000 or more. So that's false. And no, you can't afford to take your kids on vacation. Sorry. You might have to save up for a couple of years, or you need to make more money. You need to get more skills, or you might have to get a second job, a third job. People have been working second and third jobs since the 60s. This is not new. People have gotten lazier, and people want to live above their means. People understood before, like, no, you can't get that polo right there. No, you can get the polo maybe in a few months. I can save up and get you the polo, but I don't have it right now. You don't have it right now because you don't make enough money. And there's always going to be, this is capitalism. This is the way capitalism works. There's going to always be people at the bottom financially. There's going to be people at the top. And then there's a lot of nuance in between there, but that's what you have. You have the top, you have the bottom. At the bottom, the minimum wage here is absurd. I believe it's like $7.25 or $7.15 or something like that. The federal minimum wage is $7.25. Some places minimum wage is $14. $14 is kind of reasonable, but when you only make the minimum wage because you have no real skills, it's called unskilled labor. So you don't have any skills. You work at McDonald's, you work at Burger King, you work at even as a trash man. Now, trash man is a strenuous job, and they get paid more than minimum wage. However, it's a job that I can go out there and do. He can go out there and do. It's not a complicated job. So they say competence gets compensated. So when you get when you get competence in specialty areas, you get paid more. A doctor gets paid a lot, but a surgeon gets paid more. He specializes in something. A general practitioner makes less money than an oncologist. So you need to get skills, or you need to get another job. You might have to get 3 jobs. Hopefully you have to get 3 jobs, but sometimes you have to get 2 jobs. And that's just kind of the way it is living in America. You can invest, you can figure it out. But here's another video. So I'm done on that. So let me go to another video.
I want to piggyback on what I was saying yesterday, because I feel like a lot of y'all wasn't completely understanding what I'm saying. Y'all looking at these salaries and y'all not taking into consideration, for one, taxes and workload. The amount of work these companies want you to do and the amount of money they willing to pay you does not match up. You cannot work a 40-hour-a-week job in Philadelphia and feel like you successful unless you're getting paid $50 an hour.
If you are making minimum wage, you're not successful. You're not. If you're making 20, the average person working a job is not a financially successful person. I don't want to, downplay anybody in any way, but you're not financially successful if you're making $20 an hour, $25 an hour. That is not financial success. That is not going to take you into retirement. You're going to have to do other things, or you're going to have to lower the amount of money that you spend. That's just the way it goes. There's no way that anybody. So at working a regular job, so even in the 80s, when things were cheaper, nobody's going to feel successful making, what was minimum wage back there? $5 an hour. You're not going to feel successful making $5 an hour or $4 an hour, whatever minimum wage was back then. It was really low. And even with that, with things costing less, you still couldn't feel successful because you can afford the rent, you can afford to maybe go out to eat. But it depends on what you feel like is success. But what I think of as success, you would need hundreds of thousands of dollars to feel successful, to not have to worry. The car goes down, it can get fixed. You can afford a nice car. You can afford a home. You can afford to fix things in your home if something goes wrong. You're not paycheck to paycheck. You have an emergency fund in case something happens. Most people don't even know what a true, fully funded emergency account is. And respectfully, most people don't have one and can't really get one because some people don't make enough money and some people have too many expenses. Some are self-inflicted, kids, things of that nature, habits, drinking, smoking, whatever you got going on, clothes, dating, sex, partying, whatever you have going on, jewelry, whatever you're spending your money on, your disposable money on, is the reason why most people don't have an emergency fund.
You literally have to work 60, 80, 120 hours a week to have a good check. And then y'all talking about somebody living above their means. How are you just working to pay bills and you try to do any little thing, it's above your means? You want to buy an outfit, take a trip, celebrate something, it's above your means. Yeah. Y'all so brainwashed into thinking that shit normal that it's not. You get what I'm saying? This is why I want.
That is the normal American experience. If you're doing something other than that, you're not living the normal American experience. The average American person has, I believe, less than $500 in their savings account. That's what has unfortunately become normal in this country. So to have savings is abnormal. I think they said if you have $5,000 in your account, you're richer than like 85% of the world, or like something absurd like that. So most people don't have money, or most people are paycheck to paycheck. Some people a lot of people shouldn't be paycheck to paycheck if they make a decent amount of money, but people spend a lot of money, and then people who don't have money, they'll spend the money before they get the money. They're broke before their next check. They broke 2 checks from there. $100 in the account, you on vacation. No, you haven't earned a right to go on vacation. It might be hard to hear that, but you haven't earned it. You need to stay down till you come up. Everybody just want to come up, blow up. Everybody just wants the end result. Everybody wants the six pack. Nobody wants to change how they eat. Nobody wants to actually work for the things that they want. They just want it to be handed to them. But if you just handed it, it wouldn't be special. It wouldn't be anything. That's the way life works in general. Like things that are more difficult to obtain are looked at in a higher regard. Things that are easy, nobody cares about them because it's a given.
I want everybody to start being entrepreneurs or creating a side hustle where you can make some more money, because them jobs is going to keep you exactly where you at. And you got people in the comments saying stuff like, oh, you living above your means and you got to do this and that third. You cannot work 40 hours and be okay. Y'all looking at these salaries and not subtracting the taxes. You're not subtracting the cost of living. So let's just use the sanitation workers, right? Let's just run up to 40,000, right? That's roughly $3,000 a month after taxes. I could be wrong, right? That's after taxes, right? $3,000 a month. Let's just say you're 22 years old, you're working for them, you got no kids, no girl, right? Rent $1,500, $2,000 right there.
See, that's where we already messed up. You don't get to live in a place where rent is $2,000. This ain't New York. You can find places that's not $2,000 or even $1,500. You can find, first of all, you might need a studio. It's just you. It's just you. You got to stay down. That's why people need financial advisors. People need help. If you need help, let me know below. I'll help you, because this is ridiculous. And I know for a fact that there are places in this city that you can rent for $1,000, $900, $800 is pushing it. You can find an $800. It's not readily available, but like $900, $1,000, $1,100, those are reasonable things. And if you follow the rule, some people do it 60, 65, 25, and 10%. So 65% for your your rent and your whatever your bills are, whatever to keep you afloat. 65% for that. 20%, 25% for your leisure activities, eating out, whatever that is not your main stuff, and then 10% for your savings. Or some people do 60, 30, 10. It's a close range of what people do, but you shouldn't spend more than, so even at 60%. So if you spend 60%, that gives you, hold on, let me pull up my calculator. So at $3,000 a month times, so 60%. If you spend 60% on just your needs, on just your needs, that's $1,800 that you have to take care of your transportation, your living, and your food. So you might need to stay in a studio apartment for $800. You might can't have a one bedroom. Sorry, you might need to find a roommate, unfortunately, until you can figure out how to make more money. Now, again, I'm not saying that, they shouldn't have fought for that raise. I'm just saying this mentality of everybody should be paid some exorbitant amount of money. Everybody deserves a raise, or it's so hard out here. It's not easy. It's not easy, but life ain't easy. Sorry. That's just not the way life goes. Life has never been easy. I don't know what generation they thought life was easy. They went through a Great Depression. They went through civil wars here. Yeah, like it's never been an easy thing. We've gone through the 2008 crisis. It's been a lot of events, and they had the oil crisis in the 70s. There's been a lot of events. Things are never going to be perfect for everybody. Actually, for most people, things are not going to be ideal, and you got to learn to deal with it. Life is about how you deal with stuff, how you overcome it. Not about complaining about this isn't enough. If it's not enough, go get some more. Now, some people should ask for more money. Am I happy about the strike that happened? No, they should ask for more money. But however, you're not in there. You don't even know how much they should get paid. Whenever I would ask people, so how much should they get paid? People will come up with ridiculous numbers like $35. So you give everybody a $15 raise. 9,000 people, $15 raise. Like people they don't really understand how finances work. And even if they make more money, because I've been in this situation where I had two jobs, or I had a job and side hustle, whatever, and I made more money, I spent more money. Most people have a spending problem. You get that together, then you can save money.
God forbid you got a car note with insurance. God forbid.
You don't get a car note when you only making $20 an hour, $25 an hour. You can't have it. Sorry, you might have to catch the bus, or you might can buy a used car. You don't get the Uber everywhere. You won't have any money. That's the way life goes. You're financially here. You're trying to live like you here, but you here. So that's when they say living above your means, because you want to do stuff that people do right here, but you here.
Did you want to eat? God forbid you want to buy an outfit. God forbid you want to take a trip. How can you survive off of that? You have to work double the amount of work because you need the overtime to say, I got a good check. So now you're working more just to say, I have enough money, but time is passing you by. You ain't getting no younger. That same 22-year-old, he working all them hours. By the time he wake up and by the time he realize, like, damn, I need better for myself, you 30. You didn't work your whole life. That's not the American dream. So like I said, I stand by what I said. One job in the city of Philadelphia is not enough to survive. And if it is, who just want to survive? Why nobody can't live comfortably? You miss one day of work, one paycheck ain't got the overtime you used to, and your whole month fucked up. That's not how it's supposed to be. I don't care what nobody say. The people that get comfortable with that is mind-blowing to me. You should never be okay, because it's not like the job you're doing ain't requiring you to do stuff. They're requiring you to be there 7 o'clock in the morning. They're requiring you to stay overtime if they need you to. It's too much of them want you to do shit.
So first of all, yes, you have to show up to work at the time that you're scheduled for, that you agreed to be there. This is the bare minimum. You just talking about showing up like that's the tough thing to do. And you talk about people getting mandated. I mean, if you get mandated, number one, you make a time and a half, so you're gonna come home with more than that $3,000. So what are you talking about? This just doesn't really make any sense. And then people always say even in the comments, pay people what they're worth. But people, oh, that's him. That he wrote that. Pay people what they're worth. But nobody ever says what their somebody's worth. Nobody ever puts a dollar amount onto it. And then they don't think about what it actually costs the business or what it actually costs the city or state or whatever entity is paying them. Because that's what's important. Most companies have a certain algorithm where they know that we make X amount per employee. So when I hire an employee, I want to profit off my employee because this is not a nonprofit. We're not just here because we love you. We don't love you. We're a job. We want you to come in here, do a job, and make us more money than we spent on you. So when you understand that, you will understand that, this pay people what they're worth is dumb, is just as dumb as rich people should pay their fair share. But nobody ever knows what the fair share is. Nobody knows how the money that's already given to the government is being spent. So it's just catch-all phrases that really truly mean nothing at the end of the day. But that was a pretty good topic. We're going to move on to the next topic, which is, what do we have up next? So this guy right here, this is about a man actually who doesn't want to buy a house, and we can see if his logic makes any sense. Do you agree? Do you disagree? Let me know.
We pay $3,000 in rent and we don't own a house.
Why we pay $3,000 and why we don't own?
People think $3,000 is outrageous, and
$3,000 rent is high, but high is relative to how much money you make.
why can't we buy a house?
Like a mortgage? Why we don't have a mortgage?
Yes.
Well, it's not that I can't pay a mortgage. I can pay less on the mortgage because I know what they're getting at. I could pay less on the mortgage, but I also have to do maintenance and repairs on the house, right? Depending on the year of the house, right? It comes into play with maintenance. Plus, I got to pay taxes. So depending on where you're living and whatever area you're in, yeah, you got to pay the taxes. So to me, it's all about status. Either you're going to say that you own a house or, right? I don't care about owning a house. Right?
So I'm gonna stop it real quick. So if he's paying $3,000 a month in rent, that means he's probably in a fairly decent neighborhood, and the house is probably worth a nice amount of money, and the property tax would be really high. Now, renting versus buying is up to each individual person. This guy obviously looks like he's a little older, in his 40s probably. So for him to buy a house, it may not make sense to take out a 30-year mortgage because, hopefully he'll live long enough to pay it off. But what if he doesn't? And on top of him having to pay the mortgage, again, he'll have to at some point more likely put a roof on the house, or he'll have to service or replace the HVAC system or whatever else comes with owning a house. Pipes, they have to be taken care of, plumbing that has to be taken care of, electrician work, just all the things that come with owning a home. So for him, it probably doesn't make sense at this stage in his life because he will more than likely never own a home. If he does, he'll be probably in his 70s, headed towards his 80s. So home ownership is not for every person. And especially as you get older, the benefits of owning a home, number one, a mortgage would more than likely be cheaper than his rent. And on top of it being cheaper than his rent, you can eventually own it, then you can sell it. If you want to sell it, you can pass it down to your kids. You can do whatever you want with it. It becomes an asset at some point, and you do still have to pay property tax, but paying the property tax per year even in a nice neighborhood, it's still going to be cheaper than paying, rent, especially if you're living in places that are $3,000 a month. So it's an individual choice. It's really no right or wrong answer. It's really up to the individual. People, he is correct when he says that people believe that buying a house is a status symbol. But I mean, I have a friend and his family. They rent and they've been renting forever. As long as you have shelter, it truly doesn't matter if you own the home, if you can afford to stay in a home, for the rest of your life. It is, however, a good asset to leave to your offspring or whatever loved one you want to leave it to.
Right? I care about not paying the taxes and not doing the maintenance and repairs. So if anything happens to this particular house that I don't own, I'll just call the owner. He'll fix it. As far as the taxes, I don't pay no taxes on the house. So anything that involves in, I don't. Right.
They
Plus,
think that
even when it comes down to moving, once the lease is up, just leave. And the owner has to deal with the
They
house.
think that $3,000 a month is too much. But what they don't realize is everybody around us that has mortgages is paying more than us.
Right. So it's a status thing. So what the information that they've been given is that it's better to have a mortgage, but it depends on how you look at it. It depends on your income. It depends on how you manage your money. It depends on how you look at things. It doesn't matter. At the end of the day, let's say you do own that house and you die. You can't take the house with you. So all that is just status based. It doesn't matter if you own or you rent. You live in a house. So if you can't afford the rent, go get a mortgage. If you can't afford the mortgage, go pay rent. But it's just a matter if you can afford the rent. Y'all seen the house? Like this $3,000 a month house, I still got money to play with. So it doesn't matter if I'm paying rent or paying the mortgage. I know the numbers. Like I can save up the 2%, 10% or whatever and put a down payment on the mortgage. I can go do that. I
We
just don't
want to.
I don't want to.
Period.
Right. I'm happy.
So the property taxes now in Texas, I see the Texas tattoo on his chest. So I'm gonna just assume that they're still in Texas. It is pretty high. So I'm not mad at him for that. But he yeah, I mean if you want to get it. Now he said that their mortgage is cheap. I mean their rent is cheaper than everybody else's mortgage. And if that is the case, that means that whoever owns the property more than likely has owned the property for quite some time, and they probably got it in a good mortgage rate, and they probably own a home for less. But the people who live around him more than likely bought when the price of houses went up. So some people can afford to keep their rent low. Some people can afford to keep their rent low, depending on when they actually purchased their home and how much they purchased it for. But that was that. Comment below and let me know what you think about that. And we're going to move on to the next topic, which is state income tax. So Georgia, this guy is the lieutenant governor is running for he's running for governor next year. He's going to run for governor next year, and he has proposed no state income taxes in Georgia.
State's income tax. Tonight, Georgia leaders are taking steps to see if eliminating the state's income tax is possible. But Democrats accuse the committee's creator, Lieutenant Governor Burt Jones, of using the move to boost his political campaign. Atlanta News First reporter Abby Casores has the story.
We're going to completely eliminate the state income tax.
In his campaign ad, Lieutenant Governor Burt Jones says if he's elected governor, he'll eliminate the state income tax. He says it would make the state more attractive to businesses and workers.
I want to incentivize workers. I want to incentivize people to go to work every day. And the best way to do that is to lessen the tax burden.
Now he's created a committee.
So that is true. I mean, it does make a place attractive to live in if there's no state income tax. I don't really know how a business would benefit from that, but I mean, I guess the owners, they don't have to pay state income tax if they take money out or take a salary. But yeah, it would be attractive. I mean, however, it's pretty hard to go from just not from accepting state income tax to not accepting state income tax, especially in today's day and age with so many social programs you have to have money for, again, disasters or things that your state might need. You can't just when you cut taxes, you have to cut funding somewhere. Like the money has to come from somewhere. That money was going somewhere. So whatever that money was going to will no longer receive that money. So you will have to either increase another tax or add a I don't know, soda tax. Like in Philly, you can add a higher gas tax when you go to, because for people who don't know, when you go to the gas station, the price that you see is with tax. So every gallon is taxed by the state, but they don't tell you what the tax is. You have to look it up to find out how much of the actual price of the gas is taxed. So there are measures that you can take. So you have to present an actual plan. So we're going to listen further into the video, but you obviously have not heard a plan other than he wants to make the state more attractive, which it would do, but this is seeming non-feasible.
Committee designed to figure out if the state could carry out that plan and how. He selected 11 senators to serve on the committee, 8 Republicans, 3 Democrats, including Democratic Senator Doc Rett. Rett says he understands why it's an easy sell to voters to try to gain their favor, but he says eliminating the income tax is a lot like robbing Peter to pay Paul.
You don't have to pay any tax. Yay! But however, Peter or Paul or Mary will show you one hand, but they're going to try, but they have to recoup that money with the other hand.
Lawmakers already passed a bill signed into law to reduce the income tax bit by bit each year. Rett says eliminating income tax would require them to bring in more revenue or dip into savings. Will they have to raise the sales tax? Will the surplus take a hit? What about natural disasters? Hurricane Helene caused billions of dollars of damage. Democrats fear removing the revenue stream could impact some of the state's priorities that impact quality of life, like education and health care.
Each time we turn it back, we're affecting hundreds and thousands of lives throughout the state of Georgia.
The committee will meet for the first time later this summer and then end in December before the legislative session begins early next year. In Atlanta, I'm Abby Kasouris.
So a lot of people take for granted that we fund the government. We hire people that are supposed to work for us to be the CEO of our city, our state, the country. So, or our representatives, Congress, the House, Senate. So we put these people in positions. We pay their salaries. We pay for everything. The regular everyday person that we were just talking about, that's struggling out here from Rich Dollars, that conversation we just had, that's who funds the government. So when you remove the tax on the people, you have to figure out another way to fund or cut certain programs, or you have to find another way to fund certain programs. And people just really have a hard time understanding because they think the government is their daddy, and it's not. It's not. And I wish more people knew that. But that was that. And we're going to move into our last topic, which is the traffic stop over in Jacksonville. This is from February. This guy he's going to win probably win a pretty decent lawsuit. So I wouldn't trade places with him, depending on how much he wins in the lawsuit. But because I'm pretty sure this had to be a pretty scary event for him. Because when the police pull you over and they're the authorities, will say, and they do something to you, you don't know if it's going to be covered up. You don't know if they're going to unalive you. You don't know if they're going to plant something on you, say you did something that you didn't do. It was a story. This guy was in jail for months. Some white guy up in Pennsylvania, he was mentally challenged. They got behind him in the car, a bunch of state troopers. They ended up, by the time they caught him, they yanked him out the car, and he was special ed. He didn't know what was going on. And they yanked him out the car, beat him. One officer broke his hand on the man, then charged him with assault or the officer breaking his hand while punching him. So you just never know how these things are going to turn out. So I'm pretty sure this was a really, really scary thing that happened to this young man in Jacksonville. But hopefully they have to pay out. Good thing he was recording, and more people need to record. I need to record as well, although my interactions when pulled over, which doesn't happen as much anymore. But my last 20, 30 times being pulled over, things have gone smooth, no issues. When I was younger, cops were a little bit more animated. Yeah, we'll just use that word. But let's go to the video.
Walked up, opened my door because my window don't work, right? Yeah. And then I said, so what I did wrong? Yeah. He said, well, for one, your headlights are off under this weather. I'm like, okay. There's multiple people headlights off, first of all. So and then there's no rain. It doesn't matter.
So that's incorrect. So number one, there is no rain. This young man is correct. So when it's raining outside, you're supposed to turn your headlights on to help people see you. That's true. However, as you can see, this officer just standing over there, not wiping his face. You don't see any water hitting the window. You can tell it's not raining. So it's not raining, it's not dark. You don't need to have your lights on. So when the officer says it doesn't matter, it does matter. I don't have to have my lights on a bright sunny day. It's asinine to have my lights on if it's not dark or if it's not raining. If the conditions aren't in a way where it will be hard for people to see me and I'm a danger on the road, I don't need to have my lights on.
You're still required to have headlights on.
Can you pull that law up? Huh? Can you pull that law up?
Yeah, when you step out of the car, I will.
Can you call your supervisor? Huh? Can you call your supervisor?
All right, go for it.
See, so when he asks for a supervisor, they're supposed to bring a supervisor, not bust his window open. That's not what's supposed to happen. Now, he went bare arm. This guy's a psychopath. What? You see him? He going naked arm. He's an idiot. What? You don't do that. You can slice any type of vein. You numbskull.
Exit the vehicle now. Exit the vehicle.
Ooh.
Show me your hands.
And he busts the window with his bare arm and hand. I don't know if this guy's on cocaine. I don't know what this man is on. He took too much pre-workout before he got to work. I don't know what this guy's on. He on steroid. I don't know what's going on in his life. He busted out with his elbow, and then I think I saw a fist through the window to finish breaking it. Then he reaches in there and punches him like a bitch. This man doesn't even seem fazed by the punch. Or maybe it's his adrenaline, because I know his adrenaline is through the roof at this point. I know he getting hot and bothered at this point. This is when you realize you don't know what's going to go, how this is going to end. You have no clue how this is going to end at this point. This turned from an interaction of going back and forth with the police officer. Well, I didn't do anything wrong. Let me speak to a superior, please. He's been really polite to, you've been assaulted at this point. You've had your property destroyed. You've been assaulted. And it's just beginning.
Here.
What is your reason, sir? What is your reason?
Step out now. All right.
No, don't. Get on the ground.
Look, stop fighting. Put your hands behind your back. Put your hands behind your back. Hands behind your back. What's wrong with you?
Ain't no talking now, man. Ain't no talking. Fucking talking shit, bro. I was doing, bro. What's going on, man? You're under arrest. Over. He walked up.
He is so lucky he had that camera right there. I'm pretty sure their body cams wasn't working. So thankfully he had this. I'm happy that he had this. I hope that the police officer right there is fired. I hope all of those police officers are fired, because they all handled this terribly. I hope that one in particular, this guy right here, gets locked up for assault as well as being fired. This is ridiculous. So it says he has a chipped tooth, 9 stitches in his lip. His tooth went through his lip from him being slammed on the ground, not from the punk ass punches, which he threw another punk ass punch once he got out the car. Clearly, if you take that gun and that badge off, somebody would beat the shit out of you. He has short-term memory loss in his heart, and he's not mentally healed from the situation, which I wouldn't be mentally healed from the situation. I think he has short-term memory loss. Probably not. But let's throw that on there. Let's throw long-term on there. Let's throw as many things as possible. Your back hurt. Whatever. Everything wrong with you. You can't even get a haircut. Your scalp hurt. Whatever you can throw on there, just throw it on there. Cash this man out. Fire all the police officers that were involved, at least on this side of the car. The guy on the passenger side, unless he's that black guy that came over there, unless he's the guy who came over to the other side, he's good. He was just talking. Unless he's the black guy again that came over to the other side. If that's him, then fire his ass too. But yeah, so comment down below. Let me know what you guys think about this. This was the show. Man. So I'm Gary for FitnessFirstNutrition.com. I appreciate everybody for tuning in. Please like, comment, share, and subscribe, and I'll see you on the next video.